G'day, Tragic here, and welcome to the next turn of Mountains of Madness. So it's time to sort of power through this, so let's just jump straight into this turn. First thing we're going to do is send our priest, send our priest 1, 2, 3. And that's actually 2 actions because it's 3 movement points, so it takes him a whole turn to get there, and now he's ready to ring that bell. Our next turn is, let's move this guy in here, and we're going to do 1 action, bam, bam, but we're only going to do the second part of that movement. So basically we do an action that gives us 2 movement points. We're going to use 1 movement point, then we're going to use the action to access this, and if we pass that, we're going to use the other action point to move here, otherwise we're going to sit in that room. Right, so let's do that.
Okay, so we've got to be coming to the end of the game pretty soon. There's still quite a lot of... There's still at least 3 turns to go of deadly mythos phases. Okay, so we're in here. Now remember, there's darkness in here, so we can't use clues to extend the turns. The pages of these books seem stiff and they smell of salt, as if they've all been soaked in seawater at some point in the past. You find a number of books concerning lineages of important Innsmouth families. Search. A book. In the pages of the books on the Marsh family, you find a torn up piece of paper. You attempt to piece it back together. Tap to attempt the puzzle using observation. Okay, now the butler's observation is a nice healthy 5 points. Now these are fairly difficult puzzles. I mean, they're not difficult, but it's about getting them done in as fewer moves as possible. That's the difficult part. Looks like we're going to need probably at least 10 turns. So we've got 5 turns. Okay, so let's have a look here. Obviously, this one here with the coffee pot and this one here are both on the end on the left. Now, my guess is that coffee pot is sitting on a bookshelf or a table, so it would be on the bottom. So that will be on the bottom, and then this one here will be on the top. So we've got 2 of them sorted. But the trick is you can't just move them like that. You can only move them 1 space at a time. So I can only move it there or there. So there's probably an order we can get this to go where we can make... So if we move this guy here, right? It uses up 1 of our turns, but unless this goes into the correct spot, we've actually wasted a move. You want to try and move this to here in a way that places whatever goes into this square in the correct spot or closer to the correct spot, and that cuts your moves in half. As I said, I spent pretty much my entire youth and much of my young adulthood not only playing adventure games, which are like those point and click adventure games with lots of puzzles, but I also wrote a whole bunch of them. I'm an old hand at these kind of puzzles. What we're looking for now are corners. So I reckon this one and this one have to be the right hand corners. Okay, so this one here obviously goes there, right? Which means that this one has to go here. So if we do that, we have made a move that is putting this in the correct spot and this one closer to the correct spot. So I think that's a good move. Bam. Yoink. It's assuming these are all correct. Wanted. Yeah, that's definitely in the right spot. So actually this is in the wrong spot. Oh no, that's in the right spot. Bang. So this one has to go there. Okay? See how the red line matches up? So where does this one go? Wanted next to wanted. Something's beeping at me pretty heavily on the phone. Okay, so we think this one goes here. So where does this one go? This one must go here then. Right, so this one definitely goes here. So, bam. That's 2 moves. Okay, this one has to go here because you can see See how the F matches? So bang. Oh, this is going to take ages to do. I've still got to get this all the way over to here. And this one probably, I think I've got this in the wrong spot. I reckon that one goes there. So I made one wrong move. Yeah, so this one goes here, and all those ones are supposed to be down one. So that goes here, and 5, that goes there. So this one goes here. So we need 1, 2, 3. We need 4 more moves. Damn it. Okay, well, we got pretty close. We wasted 1 move, and that's the end of his turn.
Simmons is going to go do the same thing. He activates move for 2 movement points, and then he's moving in here and activating that thing.
So, Klickarunski. You notice a lock cabinet under the counter. The padlock is old but sturdy. You can unlock the cabinet only if you have the old key's unique item.
And of course we have that item right here. Bam. The old keys, baby.
So let's unlock. Book. The padlock pops open with a loud click. Behind the thick cabinet doors you find something that will help you fend off the mob. Gain the Tommy gun. Then discard the searcher token. Excellent.
Okay, so Tommy gun. Shotgun 6, that's what we want. Tommy gun, here we are. Firearm. Once per round you may re-roll all of your dice while making an attack with this card. Okay, excellent. So he now has the Tommy gun. Yeah, there was actually a mistake, by the way, in the last turn with the movement of the Maniac that was pointed out to me by one of the guys watching the thing. Thanks for that. Basically, I moved him here 2 spaces from here. Still, he took 3 damage, but he was supposed to...
If I come over here to the message log, the Maniac moves 2 spaces towards the nearest investigator.
Now, Simmons was up here, so he was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but Rita was here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. So he would definitely actually move towards Rita. Now, he still started here and moved through 2 fire, so he's still got all that damage. And because she is through a doorway, there's still no horror check. So that's all well and good. So while we're here, let's do Rita's turn. She is also going to activate her movement and go, let's get this while we're here, 1, 2, 3, and activate that.
Okay, so she activates this. A bizarre statue is on display inside a glass case. Now, this is a kind of a really badly worded, like in the application, because it's told us what the reward is.
There's a number of these grotesque statues, so we know that that's what's in the case, right? And these statues are basically evidence, so we know that what this means is that this statue is one of the required missing pieces of evidence. Remember how we needed 1 or 2 pieces of evidence? We know that this is one, which we're getting next turn, and we know that that is one because of their badly worded question. Oh well, doesn't matter. The point is that we're picking it up.
Now, last time we tried to pick the lock, but it was such a bad choice. I mean, thematically, we just stabbed a guy to death. Why would we pick the lock instead of just smashing it? So let's smash the glass this time. Bam. You smash your elbow through the glass. The sharp edges slice open your arm. Suffer 1 face-down damage. You take the statue from the case. A tag hangs from the back of it that reads, "For sale by the Marsh family. Please contact for price." Gain the grotesque stone unique item and 1 clue. Okay, we didn't even need to do a test.
I suppose that's why you pick the lock, so you don't slice your arm open. 1 face down, did it say? Suffer 1 face down damage. Okay, so that's correct. 1, 2, 3, 6. I can count. Shut up. Right. Oops, I forgot to give her the actual item and the clue. There we go. and then she moved into here, okay? So she was here, she activated the movement points, gets 3 points. 1, activate, yonk, 2, 3. And finally we have our priestess here. Now, I don't know what to do with her. Basically, she can stay where she is, or, I don't know. I think it might be best for her to just go 1, 2 and hide inside there, and that way if anything spawns, she's going to be out of range. But there's nothing we actually want to do with her. Oh, and I forgot, he actually is now standing here. Because he did the same thing, got 2 movement points, went 1, activate 2. I guess he could stay in there for 1 turn. So if he's there, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay, so it's 2 turns for him to get to the boat from there. If he's here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's still 2 turns, so it makes no difference. I think I'm going to leave him out just in case a monster spawns. And that is the end of that.
Let's go to the mythos phase. The fire spreads out of control. Place fire in a space adjacent to a space containing fire. Booyah.
Okay, I'm going to ring this bell next turn, so I think the monsters are going to go this way, so I'm going to place a fire token here.
Listening to a soft voice in his head, it is a long while before Father Mato realizes that he is peeling off his own fingernails. Father suffers 2 face-down damage and 2 face-down horror. Law plus 1 negates. Then he flips all his damage and horror face up.
These are getting bad. Okay, so his law is 4, plus 1 is 5. So he suffers 2 horror and 2, so he needs 4 successes. He's got no nothing. Yeah, he's got no way to get these rolls to happen. We need 4 successes. Come on. We get 1. Okay, well that's not good. Now he's already got 4 damage and he's already gone insane. So we're going to use that 1 point to negate 1 damage of horror, and he's going to take the 2 face down damage. So that's 2 face down damage. 1, 2. He also takes 1 face down horror. Bam. And now we have to flip all his damage and all his horror face up. Let's do his horror first. Okay. Boom. Flashback. Recent memories claw their way to the surface despite your best efforts. Resolve immediately. Flip 1 other horror face up, then discard this card. Okay, we discard this card. That's fine, and it doesn't matter because we're flipping all the horror anyway, so that's a good one to get. Okay, next. Minor shock. That one just goes straight back down. Beautiful. Next one. Sudden shock. Grasping in surprise and fear, you clutch at your face, forgetting for a moment what you had been holding only seconds before. Resolve immediately. Drop 2 random items and flip this card face down. Okay. He has 2 items, so he has to discard both of them. And next, another minor shock. That does nothing. And finally, another minor shock. That does nothing. Wow, there's so many minor shocks. And that actually, 1, 2, 3, 4. We actually didn't gain any horror, even though we did technically gain 1. Now we'll do the damage. Flipperunski. Just a scratch. You thought the wound was much deeper than it is. Resolve immediately. No effect. Discard this card. Cool. And the other one, yoink. Broken arm. Your arm is useless and every movement sends needles of pains down your side. Keep face up. If you ever have more than 2 items, drop all but 2 of your items. Okay, so that's the broken arm. So we are at 5 and 4. And he also had to drop both of these items, which kind of sucks because one of them is the evidence.
Okay, continue. Bam. Having circled the building, the mob smashes the window of the hotel and throws a torch inside and attempts to smoke you out. Place the torch common item as indicated. The fire from the torch spreads quickly and soon the hotel is ablaze. Place a fire is indicated.
Right, so we place the torch and we also place a fire in here. That's excellent, because that's going to kill this dude, I think. So I was expecting, him just to walk into here, but her be out of range. But looks like that's actually going to help us quite a lot. Excellent.
The Innsmouth mob moves 2 spaces towards the alley corner.
That's another 1, 2, and that's another 3 damage.
1, 2, 3. Continue. No investigators. Shouting and croaking, you hear some members of the Innsmouth mob break away from the main body, spawn a maniac in the Innsmouth mob space. Okay, so if you look at this, see how it's got that little red symbol there? This is a cool idea.
Basically, you take the model and you stick this little thing in here, and that differentiates it for you. So, it might be cooler if it actually didn't fall out, I guess. So yeah, a maniac spawns.
Continue. Okay, the maniac moves 2 spaces towards the nearest investigator. He has 5 damage on him.
And he starts in a place with fire, so he instantly dies, and that's why I didn't place the fire in there before, because he only needed 1 damage. Boom, he's dead.
Remember, if they activate where there's a fire, they get damage, so boom, he's dead. Now, the second one, you can see the little red symbol here. 2 spaces towards the nearest investigator.
Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, because there's 2 choices, I'm going to choose the one that does the most damage to the guy. So he starts here, that's 1 damage, 2 damage, 3 damage, heading towards her. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh wait, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so he moves there and he gets 2 damage.
1, 2. No one in the space. Now we do horror checks, and again, there's no one. Oh wait, 1, 2, 3. He does a horror check. Continue, and bam, confirm. The maniac screams and screams and screams and screams. Mine too. If you pass, block it all out. If you fail, suffer 1 horror. That's face up horror. Okay, so Simmons has a will of 3. We need 2 successes. Come on, luck. Bam, beautiful. 2 successes. So that's negated. And that is the only horror check. Bam.
Okay, so that's the situation. And again, we're, there's actually quite a lot we need to do. We need to open this. So he needs to open that. Then he goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So he is going to take 3 turns from now to get home, assuming that nothing untoward happens. That is a lot of turns, considering all the damage we've got to keep taking. If he rings the bell, we still need to pick up that, so he's going to take ring, pick up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So he's another 2 turns, 3 if you count picking up all those items. Plus, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 moves. That's another 2 turns. So basically we have 3 turns minimum to finish this game. And there is actually a bit of a functional problem in this game, unless there's something that happens at the end of the game to teach me something new. Because check this out.
Okay, so here we are at the end of the turn. Now we have a free action that doesn't cost anything. We can do it any time to check this old journal. And this actually is a problem with this campaign unless there's some kind of function later on that we haven't discovered yet. But basically, if we click on this, it doesn't take an action, so we can do it and go compile evidence. It says, you are convinced that the Marsh family is guilty of some monstrous crime, but you cannot quite prove it, blah, 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 blah. Now we picked up what I thought was a, like a piece of evidence, but it didn't actually change that message. But the interesting thing is, this is definitely one of the, we can't do it, but this is definitely the other evidence. But my point is, the game doesn't track who's holding what evidence. It doesn't track the investigators at all. It must know what evidence we've uncovered, but it has no idea whether we are holding the evidence physically in our investigators' hands.
So what that means is, there's evidence here sitting on the ground, right? But the application doesn't know that I've dropped that on the ground. So how is it going to tell, like if we get to the boat, how's it going to tell whether we've got the evidence in our hands or not? There has to be some point in the application where you have to discard evidence or something, and for every evidence you discard, you get a victory point, or you get a success. So it'll have a message saying, this is the way I would do it anyway, you have a message saying, discard evidence, every evidence you discard is a success. Unless there's something like that, there's no reason for us to pick up that evidence, because the application's not tracking it. Now, thematically, I have to pick it up, but the delay it's going to cause could lose me the actual game. So I don't know what to do there. And it really depends, unless there's a mechanic like what I just mentioned that has yet to be revealed. It's actually an error in the game design of this quest in the application that needs to be fixed. We'll find out in the next couple of turns. Anyway, I will see you guys next time.